I think Reed Memorial Presbyterian Church, it's really a gem in the crown of our area with the Tiffany stained glass windows. The architecture is phenomenal. The mahogany wood is so rich. You know, the church really, the structure, the brick and mortar church represents the wealth that was in Wayne County at the turn of the century.
When I heard that the congregation was no longer able to maintain itself and keep the building as an active place of worship, I sort of started to inquire and talk to other people about, well, what do we need to do to keep this jewel of our community?
One of the things that interested me about Daniel Reed is the fact that when I was still new in town, there's this gorgeous church named Reed Memorial Church, and the massive hospital system is the Reed Memorial Hospital. So I knew there was something more than just some guy who used to live in Richmond. And the more I read up on him, I mean, he had his hands in a lot of things here in town. He's fascinating, he really is. He's got so many different sides. Even the local newspapers covered him as the local boy, but also as the mogul who is, up there with Carnegie and J.P. Morgan. So what's great about this this sanctuary is the fact that it's barely changed since when Daniel Reed was actually here. We always said that if he walked in today, he would recognize it. This is just, we got a nice, beautiful sunny day, and that window is even more gorgeous than usual.
I also love about this building that it was a gift from someone who grew up here in Richmond and ended up becoming very successful and made a gift back to the community. There was no expense spared in the creation of this memorial to, I think, his parents. All of the windows of the church, like over 50, were designed by Louis Comfort Tiffany. Tiffany glass that you've heard about, all of the windows in this church were done that way. And everything about this church was designed by the best artisans and craftspersons of the time.
So yeah, this is always nice because you can get right up close to it and see the detail and the play of light in the glass. As I say, that's part of the artistry of Tiffany.
I love this church. It's like a family. The people that was here was just like a family, and everybody was nice, and I don't know, it's just sad even talking about them. I told them I wouldn't walk away from it, so, I mean, if something ever happened and they still wanted me to come and still do what I'm doing, I'd still do it. But people always ask me why, how come you keep on doing it if nobody's there? Well, got to keep it going, And like Joanne, I let her in until we did decide to give her a key because she loves it, For 2 months she cried and everything, so I had to let her come in and play the organ. She did it for 47 years.
Reed Memorial Presbyterian Church means a great deal to me. In 1993, I was diagnosed with cancer, actually a stage 4 small cell cancer. And the people of the church just rallied around me and helped me mend. We were very tight-knit and we were all very emotional. It was just very hard to know that that would be the last Sunday that we would be worshiping together in that particular church.
So another thing that's important to know is there's a 10-year window in which the presbytery has to act before the reversionary clause kicks in. The presbytery itself may not have the funds to continue to maintain the building. We've done some local fundraising and can sort of extend that on a month-by-month basis, but at some point the presbytery will have to make a decision about whether they can continue to carry forward this. I think that some of the heirs have a particular interest in the monetary value of the church, should that be available to them. They also recognize that it's part of the legacy of their family.
I understand that they're descendants of Daniel Reed, but they're pretty withdrawn from this area and certainly from that building. I truly hope that they can see and understand what that particular structure means to all of us here.
The old Reed Memorial Hospital, it was vacated and some people bought it and said they were going to refurbish it and make dorms out of it, or senior whatever. They had all kinds of big grand plans, and they came in and cannibalized it and walked away. And that beautiful building sat and just deteriorated in front of all of our eyes for 10 years until the county and the city could raise enough money to get it torn down. And that, I know, is something that anybody who's ever been near that church does not want to see.
When we think about the location of the church, it is not perhaps the best part of town at this time, but Richmond is working very diligently to turning a lot of those communities around. There's still a lot of beautiful architecture left there, and I can see where there's becoming pride again. So I believe that that area can rebound. Saving the church is essential. We must succeed in maintaining that brick and mortar.
One of the things we did was work with a number of local musicians and regional musicians to put together a concert series for our community. The cost of operating the building is not something that the presbytery has funding for. The funding for that is likely to run out before the end of this year. My hope is that we'll be able to keep things going just long enough to be able to have a clear answer on which way we can go. But the clock is ticking.